Jobs, jobs, jobs.
How many times do you hear that a day? China, Japan, America, even us in the outback just can't seem to ever get enough of jobs, whether it be as an empty political promise. And it's something to aspire to, or as a conversation starter. Jobs never fail to be one of the most important parts of human life as we know it. We seem to have a constant need to keep our two hands occupied, to give our lives meaning.
It starts from when we're born. We're constantly exposed to all sorts of hints from around us about the importance of jobs in our lives. Even as early as primary school, children are constantly reminded about the importance of getting a job when they grow up, in the form of seemingly innocent questions like, what do your parents do? Or, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or my personal favorite, doctor, lawyer, engineer. Choose one. Now, although these questions may seem perfectly normal and well-intentioned, they're actually slowly but surely conditioning us as young people to think that jobs are somehow essential for us to form our identities as we grow up.
In the 21st century, jobs are taught to be everything to us. As high school students, we're already feeling the impact of this mindset. As we look towards getting a degree in university, it's no longer about our dreams or aspirations, but instead about what job opportunities there are, what the employment rate is, and are there any, and what the potential salary is. But now, a war has been declared on our precious jobs, and we, as the next generation, have to adapt to survive this change.
Okay, so now let me give you a bit of background on this war that's been declared against us and our precious jobs. With the advent of machine learning, we can teach robots to do almost anything from scratch at mind-boggling efficiencies. Eventually, it just won't be sustainable to employ humans over robots in many cases. According to the McKinsey Global Institute, up to 30%, or 800 million jobs worldwide, are in danger of being automated by the year 2030. Now, despite their inability to be creative like us or transfer their learnings between different tasks, we can teach robots to do almost anything, from simple tasks to even more complex ones that we thought were only human until now, like recognizing different images, or even organizing and even understanding information. We simply can't deny the efficiency of these robots. They don't need to sleep, they don't procrastinate, and they don't waste any time doing anything but working. Simply put, a one-time investment into this kind of software, or even machinery, will become more sustainable than to employ a human for many different industries.
According to many technology experts, such as Ray Kurzweil in his book, The Law of Accelerating Returns, the rate of technological growth is constantly accelerating. There's no end to it. This is leading to more and more jobs becoming endangered. The thing is, automation is already here, and it's here to stay. We are constantly being reminded of this every day, and the wave of panic has been ensuing onto our society. At the same time, our minds are being swayed by fear-mongering on this automation. As a result, our governments are trying to scramble poorly thought out policies as an attempt to save our jobs from this war on automation.
It's the projects like Adani's Carmichael coal mine, which aims to erect a new facility to produce 40 million tons of coal a year in Queensland. It's mainly motivated by its huge job creation potential and its ability to save Queenslanders from the loss of jobs. But we seem to care more to create new jobs for people to constantly be employed than to actually have jobs that are productive and actually benefit society. We seem to care more that these miners are in some kind of job than reskill them to something that actually helps and will continue to be efficient and effective as we move into the future, like renewable power
Up until now, nothing we have said should really have been a surprise. Let me give you a few seconds to think about why exactly are we all scared of automation? Do the negatives really outweigh the positives, or is it actually the other way around? Right now, we seem to have a common perception that automation is the common enemy of mankind. It's something to be feared, something taking over everything we once had. However, what if we look on the other side? What if we choose not to fight automation? What if we choose to work alongside automation and achieve efficiencies we have never thought possible before? What if we adapt to automation? Because that is what the human race has done throughout centuries to survive.
In the words of New York Congressional Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, we should not be haunted by the specter of being automated out of work. We should be excited by it. But the reason we're not excited by it is because we live in a society where if you don't have a job, you are left to die. And that is, at its core, our problem.
What if we take a step back and think? If automation is really better than us in some of these roles, what is the point of fighting against it? If automation is more effective, more efficient for our society, why are we clinging onto these jobs so hard?
In our current society, we offer our labor to employers in exchange for money. But when these robots come in, they'll replace us in a more efficient manner, and it will make sense for those employers to use them instead of us in order to keep their production costs lower and to keep their prices more competitive. But what this means for us is that everything gets cheaper, more affordable, and more accessible. It could improve our lives economically and become more sustainable in the process. By not working in some of these jobs, we could actually have a more comfortable, more efficient and sustainable, and really better society if we can get over this notion that jobs are somehow essential to our well-being.
As far as us humans are concerned, the most important barrier to this change is the loss in income. Now, this really isn't a new problem for us. Unemployment has been around for a long time, and welfare has always been the solution. Now, a new wave of unemployment is coming, and experts have already formulated a new plan to save our living standards. And most of you have already guessed it. It's a universal basic income. This is the idea that everyone gets a basic income every month. This will be sourced from existing welfare, as well as from taxing of automated units used in firms, allowing these firms to actually take advantage of this new and better technology at a fraction of what I would have paid a human. Trials of the UBI have been conducted all around the globe, and it has garnered the support from many high-profile economists, politicians, and business leaders.
Automation and artificial intelligence threaten to take the very jobs we hold so close to our hearts and identities. And the question arises, will we, as the human race, be able to survive being unemployed and having to reskill ourselves? As the fourth industrial revolution sweeps the world, we are going to lose jobs. And we don't know if we'll have enough to replace them. And we don't know what kind of jobs will replace them. The abilities of these robots are going to be constantly increasing every single day, and more jobs will disappear. So we need to be ready to adapt, to re-educate ourselves in something completely new, and to even be unemployed for long periods of time. But really, the question isn't if we can survive this change. We know we can. But it's about how we decide to face this change. Because just as we can embrace automation and change our mindsets towards work, we can also try to fight it and leave our future generations to face the consequences of our mistakes.
We need to realize that even without jobs, we can have a purpose. We can still live and create. We can still adapt. That's not to say that jobs are important for society, though. Jobs are and will continue to be one of the cornerstones of life as we know it. However, that does mean that our lifestyles will have to change, and we should not always be expected to be needed. Constantly reskilling ourselves for short-term employment will be the norm, and instead of expecting for long-term stability. The number of jobs each person has in their lifetimes is steadily increasing, and we as humans have to adapt and change our mindset on what a happy life looks like.
The fact is, our seemingly human need to attach a job title next to our name has to go. We, especially as young people, can't keep going on relying on becoming a pilot or a teacher when we grow up, because those jobs might not even exist. Instead, we have to rely on making our own unique purposes, something completely separate from our jobs and our careers.
Now, just imagine how the world could look as we go past a need for jobs. People can have the freedom to do something, they actually want to do. We think that there is a need for us as a society to change our mindset. No longer should getting a job be the main goal of our lives. Instead, we should aspire to something more meaningful, more human.
We should not be scared of automation. We should be excited by it. Because what it means for us is more time doing the things that actually matter. It's more time using our creativity, more time investigating the world around us, more time learning new ideas, and more time inventing new solutions and changing people's lives.
Ultimately, if there was one message for you to all take back today, it isn't that jobs aren't needed for society anymore. In fact, even after this whole speech, I'm probably going to go on my own little venture for a job myself. Otherwise, I won't get dinner tonight. But anyway, we need to realize that as we are on this little venture, to not forget what we originally set out for, to follow our passions through. And maybe, just maybe, you too can do something great with these two hands. Thank you.